Did you know that God does not want you to teach people about His own word? What's going on, guys? My name is Cody. We're going through a study of James. We're now in chapter 3. Please check out the rest of the videos in this little series, because it's going to help give you context of what we're talking about here. But I'm going to tell you about what Scripture says in regards to people being teachers and why you should not be one. And please watch till the end so that you're not confused and think I'm some sort of false teacher, heretic, or something like that. Scripture says in James 3, verse 1, it says, "Let not many of you become teachers, my brethren, knowing that you will incur stricter judgment." The number one beef I have with people who do what I'm doing right now, which is teaching you through videos specifically online, is I see that there's a lot of people today who are trying to be Christian influencers whose heart and desire is to be known, to be popular, to have a following. And these are people who don't personally, a lot of times, really have an intimate relationship with the Lord. These are people who often don't even read Scripture ever, but they're people who want to teach you because they know that there's going to be some sort of praise, recognition, honor that they're going to receive for doing so without having a full grasp of these teachings. I have a larger following on TikTok, and I say that to say I'm really in tight with a lot of the guys that have, over 500,000 followers and more. And some of them are awesome and really love the Lord genuinely. And I know others of them who look no different than the world and who are out there solely for the goal and purpose of gaining followers and not trying to lead people to Jesus. And this is the kind of thing that Scripture talks about, which will make you incur a greater or stronger, more intense judgment on the day of judgment because of what you're teaching. Jesus doesn't want us just ho-hum teaching things scripturally simply because we want to impress people, show off, or have some sort of platform or following. I make these videos whether 2 people view them or 2 million people view them. It doesn't change anything. And these are all things that I have taught before in one-on-one private sections where nobody else is looking, nobody else is listening, and that's just one-on-one, me and the guy beside me. And I'm just trying to teach him what the Word says about their lives and what they're supposed to do. So I couldn't care less if anybody watches these videos in a sense of a self-value or, a popularity kind of context. I couldn't care less about any of those things. I care about Christ being magnified and us being able to look more like Him through our daily walks. And if that's not your sole purpose in your studying and reading, is you to know Him, know the Father, and for you to help others know the Father better, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Scripture doesn't say, study to preach yourself approved, or study to teach yourself approved, or study to appear approved. It says that you're supposed to study to show yourself approved. We're not supposed to preach ourselves approved or show off anyway. We're supposed to study to show ourselves approved in the secret place. This is something that we're supposed to do in our alone time with God. This is not something that I do for a camera. I have read these words thousands of times because I want to know my Maker more than anything else. So I want to make that really, really clear in regards to my intentions, what your intentions should be as somebody who's trying to study or teach the Word to other people. Now, with that being said, this isn't a justification for you to not be a teacher. I don't want you listening and going, no, that's why I don't teach. No. It's not supposed to be like that. When it's talking about teachers here, this is not talking about the fivefold of teacher, right? We have apostles, prophets, teachers, evangelists, and pastors. All are given to the church for the equipping of the saints to come to the full stature of the measure of Christ. That is not what it's referring to. This is referring to you being somebody who teaches other people. This is all Christians' job. Us as Christians are supposed to be teachers. Doesn't mean you're given the vocation, the fivefold ministry of a teacher, but you're supposed to be a teacher because you're a Christian, and Christians have to explain the words of Jesus to other people, and that defines as teaching. So you're supposed to teach, and it's not saying not many of you should become teachers for the purpose of you getting out of teaching, as much as it is for you to understand that you need to make sure that your teachings are biblically sound so that when you are teaching, you're not misleading people. Now, there's grace for people who happen to teach something and it not be correct, even though their heart's intentions and desires was to show people the truth. That is an entirely different thing than you teaching to show off, to seem like you're a know-it-all, or any of those kinds of things. You're not supposed to just not teach because you're scared you're going to go to hell one day. That's not the purpose of this, right? If we look just a few verses up from this, it talks about how mercy triumphs over judgment. So we shouldn't have to worry about this, being weighed on a scale of getting judged really harsh by God and going to hell one day because we accidentally said something that wasn't biblically correct. I say things that are not biblically correct, just like any and all other people do. I'm not intending to do so. I'm trying my best to understand Scripture the best way I know how. And I study from people smarter and wiser than me, and I listen to theologians and people who are their doctorates in this stuff. But it doesn't mean that all of us have perfect doctrine. But Jesus doesn't care about perfect doctrine. He cares about us being perfected in love. It says verse 2, "For we all stumble in many ways. And if anyone does not stumble, in what he says, he is a perfect man, able to bridle his whole body as well." What you teach comes out of your mouth, and if you make sure that everything that you say is honoring to God and biblical, then you're perfect in all of your ways. And in the next video, we're going to explore exactly what it looks like in regards to making sure that we're using our tongue in a really, really biblically sound manner.